Welcome to Kerah Speaks, where the truth runs deep. Faithful, healed, and free. Real talk, real growth. Let the Spirit speak, stories that set you free. Becoming who you're meant to be. Welcome to the conversation. Kerah Speaks.
What's up, everybody? I am Kerah. Welcome back to another episode of Kerah Speaks, the calling series, where we talk to people about not necessarily what they do, but why they do what they do. If you can go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me, subscribe, and if you're listening on the podcast, hit those 3 digits you see on your screen and follow the podcast. Leave me 5 stars and leave a comment. Today's guest is Grandè Beauty, a multi-award-winning poet, author, actress, jewelry designer, and host of Point of View with Grandè Beauty. Through spoken word, literature, and storytelling, she has inspired audiences with messages of healing, purpose, confidence, and authenticity. Whether she's performing on stage, writing poetry, or just sharing her perspective with the world, she reminds us that words have power to transform your life. Today, we are exploring the story behind the woman, the poet, and the calling that gave her a voice. Please welcome to the calling series, Grandè Beauty.
Hello. Oh man. Look, every time somebody introduced me, I'd be like, why I don't say that by myself?
Hey, sometimes it takes other people to see what we can't see sometimes, or what we can't say sometimes.
You know what? And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. So very welcome. So for the people who may not know who you are, I don't know why they would know who you are, but those who might not know who you are, tell us who you are and what you do.
And I always say I'm many things, but one of the things that people know me for the most is being a poet, spoken word artist. I act, I host, just all around. I'm very opinionated, hence Point of View with Grandè Beauty, which I need to get back up and running. But most of all, being a poet with empowering words. And that's what people know me for. And if you don't know me, you got to get to know me, Yeah,
that's right. That's why we got you on the calling series, so we can get people to know you. So how did you come up with the name Grandè Beauty? I mean, I know it's probably self-explanatory, but I really want to know.
Let me tell you. So how I came up with Grandè Beauty. Actually, back when, MySpace was popping, and used to have these groups, and there were, women were putting together like these BBW plus size groups. And I wanted to have a group called Grandè Beauties. Mm-hmm. So it didn't pop off for a while. And I ended up just taking the name for myself. I was like, I'm gonna call myself Grandè Beauty. And, later on, I think about 2009, 2010, I started a group. I ended up starting a plus size group, and they were called Immense Beauties. So within that group, everybody had a name, and it referred to size. Like we had Immense Beauties, and then it was Ample Beauty, and I was Grandè Beauty. So that's how it went. And when I got back on the poetry scene, heavy, I just kept it. So I stepped on stage in 2007. And from there on, I was Grandè Beauty before that, but it continued because for a long time I didn't write or perform. So when I started back performing in 2011, the name, it got cemented.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So when did you first start writing poetry?
I started writing poetry at the age of 8. And I always say, in school, they're teaching you, in literature and English about, rhymes, and you're learning about poems. And I was reading The Cat in the Hat. And my favorite book was The Light. What was it? The Light in the Attic or something like that. It was a white book with if you remember that book. And I was reading those books, and I started writing my thoughts and making them rhyme like The Cat in the Hat, and, just learning through poetry. So that's how I started writing. And then, as a child, especially as a Black child, you can express yourself in certain ways with your parents. So I would put it on paper. Like, I can't say this to you, but I'm finna write it out. That's how it
Yeah.
happened.
Do
Hmm.
you remember your first poem?
I don't remember my first poem at 8, but I do remember my first poem when I was in middle school.
Okay.
Hmm.
Did you perform it?
I've never performed it. It was one of those inspired by poetic justice. Because there was
Okay.
this poem
Okay.
that Janet was saying that Maya Angelou listened to me closely. It was called
Mhm.
Closely. And I wrote a poem, based off of that. And I for years and years, I always remembered like that was like, oh my God, that was like a turning point. Poetic
Mhm.
justice was really a turning point for my poetry.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So did you know you had a talent with words, or did other people recognize it? Who recognized it first?
You know what? I've been thinking about that lately, and it's funny that you asked me because I didn't realize that people heard my voice,
Mm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew I was speaking and I knew I wanted to speak, but I didn't know people heard me, like teachers.
Mm.
Like I can remember now being in plays, they will, I didn't try. I always tell people, and I remember now, even in school, I didn't try out for a play. I remember in elementary, we did this play, and I think people always seen me as strength because in that
Yeah.
play, they gave me the role of the mama. I was the mama in elementary. And
Yeah.
I can see now why they would pick me as the mama, and times that they would ask me to speak. When you everybody got their little part, and they would give me the part that I look back now like that part was meant for me. And
Mhm.
even then I would deliver. So yeah, it was people that saw me have a voice. And I remember my aunt Joffrin, she always spoke to me, and we would sit at the table, and like that was my homegirl, and she would listen to me, and she allowed me to talk, and she would listen to me. So I look back at when I was in school, and I look back at how teachers talked to me and how they treated me because they heard my voice.
Mm. Mm. So
Hmm.
somebody simply listening to you help you hear
Hmm.
yourself, and that gave you your
Yeah.
voice. That's
Right.
beautiful. That's
Right.
beautiful.
Yep.
So when did
Hmm.
you realize, or at what point did you realize, like, I'm not just a good writer, I'm a poet?
Oh, I in high school. In high
Mm.
school, when I really came into like learning about Maya Angelou, because my teacher, Miss Davis, in ninth grade, she was this
Mm.
poised woman.
Mm.
And she could dress, and she was that teacher, like her
Mhm.
heels every day. Like you don't
Yeah.
see many of those teachers today.
Right, right,
Her
right.
heels and suits, and she was, and that's she introduced me to Phenomenal Woman. Yeah.
Yes,
She
yes,
and that was like, I was like, like,
yeah.
oh my God. And she knew it. And that was like, it was a turning point because I'm like, this woman is speaking about, I'm a plus size girl.
Yeah.
I'm in high school. And when she's talking about her hips and all these things, and this is the stuff that I'm trying to love about myself. I'm
Mhm.
different from the regular size girls in my school. And here's
Mhm.
this woman with this poem talking about loving herself and all these things. I'm like, oh my goodness. So fast forward
Mm.
after her, I'm already seeing the plus size women like Monique, on
Mhm.
stage. And then here comes Def Poetry Jam. And
Yes.
here's this woman come on stage, and her name was Georgia Me. And she
Mhm.
got up there and she talked about her size, and she ran it. She ran the stage, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh my God, I hear
yeah.
women that feel like me. And from
Mhm.
there, I wrote a poem. I titled it Voluptuous at
Yeah.
that time, but it turned it to something else. And then I came with just other poems. I don't even think I've ever said voluptuous out loud, but then my poems became like empowerment. Like
Yeah.
I want women to feel like I felt when I heard Maya. I want women
Yeah.
to feel like I felt when I hear Georgia Me. Yeah.
Mhm. It's so funny that you say that because when I was younger, I think Phenomenal Woman is the one I heard as
Mm,
well. And I was
wow.
in 8th grade, and I remember writing my first poem, and I was just writing, just like you said. I
Mm,
couldn't express myself to my
yeah,
parents, you know, so I
yeah,
wrote
yeah.
as a way to express myself. And I remember my first poem, it was called Woman. And you know,
Mm.
I was always about the black girls
Come
from a
on now.
very young
Come
age.
on now. Yes,
And
yes.
I just wrote it. I remember my teacher was like, "This is really good." And I remember my mom was like,
Mm.
"Wow!" Like so that at that point, I was like, "Okay, maybe I got a talent for writing." So the fact that you say phenomenal, I think that opens a lot of poets' eyes,
It does.
especially
It
young
does.
black girls. That phenomenal
Yes,
woman, because it's speaking life into you. It's affirmations,
it
and it's
is.
like a light comes on. It's like I am a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal woman.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. She did her one with that one. She did.
Yes, she
And
did.
she has so many poems that are amazing. But that
Mhm.
one for I think black women is like a staple. It's the
Yes.
one that says it. Oh, it's everything.
Yeah. So when did you know that poetry was going to be your life's work, your calling, and your purpose?
Ooh, when it started happening, and it
Mm-hmm.
kept happening. I just wanted people to hear me. I just
Mm,
wanted people to experience my words and feel what I was saying. And
yeah.
I didn't know. And back in I want to say like 2002, 2003, when I was in church regularly,
Mm,
there was this prophet. She spoke, and you know, people don't believe in prophets, whatever, but this woman spoke over me, and it didn't hit me till years later. And I was like, oh, she told me, and I think I was like 22, 23. And she said,
mm-hmm.
I see you. Like she holding my hands. And she was like, I see you at podiums. And she said, you're
Mm,
going to speak to women and you're going to empower women. And women are going to look up to you and they're going to admire you. And I'm just like, yeah, you know how you are. You in tears, you're absorbing it.
yeah.
Doing poetry was far from my mind, especially on
Really?
the stage. Yes,
Wow.
especially on the stage. I didn't get what she was talking about. I just took it in. I was like, she see this? Okay. This was like I say, 2002, 2003. Fast forward 2011, I'm on stage. It, I don't think I remembered her words to probably two
Mm,
maybe 2 years after the poetry thing really was happening, and women
mm,
really were coming up to me like, oh my God, you so confident. And you know, women were telling me, I admire you, and you so, and her words, I just started hearing her words. I said, oh, I said, that
mm.
lady told me that I was gonna be, you know, it came back. And I didn't
Wow.
know, but she knew it. But as
Yeah.
far as making a life where I'm traveling, I'm getting paid, I'm on flyers, I never saw it coming. I never saw that
Mm,
coming. Never.
mm, So it was that whole time it was stored in your subconscious until you needed it.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Wow.
was. It was. It
Wow.
was.
It's one thing
Mhm.
that I really admire about your work is your authenticity,
Mm,
and that you're a performer, you know. But you recently wrote on your Instagram, I believe, you said, "I perform, but I am not performative." What does that
right.
distinction mean to you? How do you separate the 2?
I don't separate. It's just authenticity. When
Mhm.
I go on the stage, I'm coming as me. You know,
Yeah.
some people have to um how can I explain it? It's not an 8 count. That's
Mhm.
performative. Like
Yeah.
I'm flowing through it. I've
Yeah.
memorized it. I'm giving you me. I'm naked before everything. I'm not
Mhm.
holding back. I'm authentic. I'm
Yeah.
giving it to you. I'm not doing this. I'm not robotic. I'm
Yeah.
not, well, when I say this word, I'm going to raise my hand this way. When I say this
Okay.
word, I'm going to do. No, I perform, but I'm not performative, because I feel
Mm.
like when it comes off like that, it's not the same. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I meant. I perform, but I'm not performative at all. And when I talk to the, if you've seen, I talk to the audience like I've been knowing them forever. Like
You
I'm not
did,
talking
yeah.
to, yeah. You see, you see, like I'm not up there like, okay, next. And I'm no,
Yeah.
I'm y'all. This y'all my homies. You know,
Mhm.
I'm here. I love you. I thank you for listening. And that's how I love. That's why I say I'm not performative. I'm not like, okay, I got these three to do and I'm finna go sit my butt. I'm here once even when people put me on the spot.
Mm.
Like I was put on the spot in Atlanta. My girl, Mother the Creator, she was like, "Can you touch the mic?" And I'm like, "I just came to
Oh.
support, and I've been drinking." So the first thing I said when I got to the mic, I was like, "Y'all, when I know I'm going to perform, I don't drink. I've been drinking, so yeah." So yeah, so that's me being me. You know,
Yeah.
just being me. I'm being Grande. Even
Yeah.
though Grande and Tarika are different, they still intertwine.
How are they
Hmm.
different?
Tarika cannot do what Grande does, you
Okay.
know,
Like a
or maybe
Beyonce Sasha Fierce a little bit.
maybe so, or maybe I've never given her a chance to, you know. But if I'm always nervous,
Mm.
I'm always nervous. I'm always worried about, are they going to receive my words? Can I get
Yeah.
through it? Oh, it's like that when I finish, like.
Yeah.
And you know, so and I think that's why I kind of get into the crowd like we homies, because that's how I get through, because like I
Yeah.
got to feel like y'all love me and I love y'all,
Right.
and we here
Mhm.
for the same reason. We all have the same energy, because other than that, if I think you're here to just see me perform, I
Mm.
probably won't get through it the way that I
Yeah.
get through it. Like I have to look at the artist and I have to bond and I have to have that energy with everybody. Like, y'all good, y'all. I love
Mhm.
y'all. Y'all love me. We're here for a performance.
Yeah.
But guess what? I love y'all. Y'all giving me the energy that I need, and we're gonna get this through this together. So when I exhale at the end, it's like, God, I didn't let my homies down.
Mm.
I didn't let my people down. They was there with me.
And it's so interesting because when I saw you on stage, it doesn't give that you're nervous. It gives that,
Mm,
like you're at home. So
right,
it,
right.
the authenticity, it does come out, you know,
Hmm.
as onlookers, as people that are watching you on
Hmm.
stage perform, people have a
Hmm.
misconception. Just like you said, you
Yeah.
were nervous and you exhale. But when people
Oh.
see Grande Beauty on stage, they see
Hmm.
confidence. They see,
Yeah.
this person never gets scared, so do
Hmm.
you sometimes feel the pressure to uphold people's expectations when you are performing?
You know what? That I don't.
Okay.
But I myself,
Hmm.
girl, it's me more.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
I get past me, I know everybody else good. I'm like,
Hmm.
if I get past her, everybody else good.
Yeah.
And I'm always nervous, and I repeat this over and over and over again. Um and I'm going to research this so I can get the exact person. But I remember on Monique's show, you remember Monique had her night
Hmm.
show, and I think she said it was either Gladys Knight or Shaka Khan. One of them told her, she was talking about how she get nervous before she goes out on stage. Another woman that you see confident like Monique it,
Yeah.
no. And she said that they told her, if you ever go out, before you go out on that stage, if you're not nervous and you go out on that stage, you're not nervous, you need to quit, because you're no longer humble. Because
I
that's a
remember that.
person that feels like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
They gonna love this. It
Yeah.
don't even matter. And that stuck with me. And mind you, at that
Mm.
point, I'm in the beginning of my career. And I
Mm.
was just like, oh my God. Cause you know how long ago that was. Monique had
Yeah.
her show on. And
Yeah.
I was that stuck with me from then. So when people be like, you get nervous, I'd be like, yeah. So I started welcoming
Mhm.
my nervousness. But it was a point where I had to get over. I was so nervous that I would drink
Mm.
to perform in the
Yeah.
beginning, because even the first poetry show I did with DJ Fresh at Mario's, me and my sister got there. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sign up. I'm gonna do one. I had planned it in my head from the moment I
Yeah.
saw the flyer drop or whatever. And we got there, we got a picture of margarita, and I'm like, okay, I got to calm my nerves. And what I realized was, every time I wanted to do an open mic or I was scheduled to perform, I wouldn't drink like, well, it was just knock off the edge. And
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this could be a problem. And I don't need any problems. So what I did was, I remember praying I remember sitting in my room and I had to go perform at CSU. It was like IOTA week or something like that I had to perform for. And mind you, I'm in my 30s, so these young kids or
Yeah.
whatever. And at that point, I'm at CSU regularly with
Yeah.
Monster Music. And I remember praying, I said, God, I said, if you can get me through this performance and I'm not nervous as I usually am, I would not drink again to perform. But if you don't get me through this, I'm up here telling God, like, if you don't do it, guess what? I'm a drink, sir. Just guess what I'm gonna do. And I went to that performance and I got through it. I was nervous, but it was just normal.
Yeah.
And now I can't drink before because I can't. Now I can't. I'm like, so if you see me drink, I'm just sipping a little because I got to drink, but I'm not drinking to get through it. So now it's to the point like I'm gonna forget the words if I drink for real, for real. So so I'm not. No, yeah. So so the humbleness, welcome the humbleness. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're writing, who's writing? Is it Tarika or is it Grandè Beauty?
And that's why they intertwine because Grandè is really Tarika's story.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because Tarika can't tell it like Grandè. She can write it. She can write it, but Grandè has to tell it. So that's why I think now I found the answer for how they intertwine. Like Tarika is down home, down to earth girl. Grandè is too, because they one in the same. But Tarika tells the story because these aren't Grandè stories. These are Tarika's stories. These are Tarika's, but Grandè goes and performs it. You know what I'm saying? It's like Tarika is the notes on the page and Grandè is the instrument.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which poem means the most to you personally?
Ooh, it's so many. Ooh, that's like asking. I only have one baby. I only have one baby, but it's so many.
Well, I'll ask you this. Which one was the hardest to write?
So there was this poem. My cousin isn't. So let me start here before I get to the poem.
Okay.
He told his story. He did the documentary on sex essay, people being essayed. And he was like, cousin, I want you to write a poem about this, it being essayed or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I feel like I'm not good at writing a story that's not mine, if that makes sense. Because it's like I have to go somewhere or it has to be in here. So I was like, okay. Because people ask me, can you write a poem for me? I'm like, I don't love that man. So I don't know if I can write a poem for him. For you, I don't know. You know what I mean? People do. There are some people that can do it and I admire that, but I wasn't. So I said, okay. And I sat with it for a minute and it just started coming to me. I actually put it on my TikTok as a visual with like pictures. And I wrote that. And that one, I cried. I cried through that one because I had to go somewhere. I had to go into something I had never been through, but I had to pull from the stories of the women that have told me and the women, people that I have set with and these so I had to go there. So I can truly say that was one of the hardest poems I had to write.
I've always wondered if poets experience the world differently. Do you feel like you personally feel things deeply, or do you feel like poets are just able to translate what other people feel and just have trouble saying?
I think it's a mix of both. I think it is. And our ability to express it It's just a blessing, you know. It's a blessing to be able to put it into words, put it in, you know, have the thoughts come out on the page and get behind the microphone. You know, even the poets that don't get behind the microphone, they just write it and put it in a book or however, if you just leave it, because I have notebooks on notebooks of stuff that I've never performed and probably never will. But I think we feel things just as much as other people, but I think it's like you said, it's just a different ability to express it, and we have a form and a way to get it out. You know, some people punch it out, some people drink it out, some people, you know, do other things and get it out, but we write it out. So yeah.
How does it feel to have people resonate with your words, like something that you wrote on a piece of paper and then you perform it? See people shaking their heads and they feeling it, and they come up to you after the show and they tell you how much it meant to them, or you know, it really spoke to their life. How does that make you feel?
It feels amazing. It feels it solidifies everything that I am, you know, even if you're not looking for approval, or you're not looking for people to, but just that little, you don't even know that you're looking for it till you get it. You know, it's like that. I didn't know I needed it till I had it. So that was amazing. You know, so when I would get it, and the most amazing thing for me was when I would get up there and do Wolf Cry, Grandè, and these plus size empowerment poems, and the plus size women wasn't too much fool with me after the poem. It was the smaller women coming to me like, oh, yes. Honey, that whole plus size thing, I had to get up out of that. That people, what, Netflix? Look, I need to do the Netflix documentary on that. If people really know, you know, the plus size women, but it was the smaller women that came up to me like, oh my God, you know, you just made me feel so. You know, they gave it to me. I even had I went to perform with open up for American Idol season 12 winner Candace Glover. So all of us, she had a group of us that she picked to come and open for her. She did a fan appreciation show. And one of the guys' name was Kyle. So Kyle, this white dude can sing. So Cal, so I did Wolf Cry Grandè on the stage. That was my song that I did. So I'm coming off stage and Cal was like, Grandè, white boy, skinny. Cal was like, Grandè, you made me feel like I am a beautiful, big, plus size black woman. And I was so tickled. Cal was really like, he was hype. You hear me? And I was like, you know what? That right there, that's one of them I keep in my pocket. But yeah, the love is amazing when people, you know, come up to you like, oh my God, your words is something to be. Like I say, I make people feel like Maya and Georgia made me feel, you know.
Yeah. And you don't just write poetry, you also write books as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so your books they explore healing, identity, and self-acceptance. What conversations were you having with yourself prior to or while you were writing those books?
Well, so Evidence of the Things Unseen was just a compilation of all my poetry and my affirmations. Okay. So that was a no-brainer. That was just like, put this here. Somebody need this. And I kept saying over and over and over and over and over again, I'm going to do a book. I'm going to do a poetry book. I'm going to put this in. And I did. And, you know, a lot of these things were the things that I didn't do on stage. It was the ones in my notebook. And so, yeah, that was a push. And as far as She Has a Story to Tell Too, that was a story I wrote years and years ago, and I kept saying I'm gonna push this out, and I'm working on part 2 now. But I wanted to give a story from the a plus size perspective of the girl in high school who the guy actually likes, but she doesn't believe it because in this era, because I wrote the story back in the 90s. So, in this era, plus size girls, it was a different treatment for us. We had to get now little plus size girls and teens and stuff, dudes outright date them. They're not hiding it. So I wrote from that perspective of her actually having this guy really like her, but her not believing it and still not loving herself enough to let him love her. So those two books, and then this one's coming, and I did a journal. What I don't forgot the name of my own journal. I think Journey to a Transformative Year. So I wanted people to just write out like, what did you do this week? How did you feel this week? How did you wrap up this month? So that's what I did with that.
Are writing books different from writing poetry in any way?
Definitely. Writing the story, she has a story to tell too. It should be a sin to be this sexy. It's long, but it when I actually wrote it, because of course over the years I tweaked it and changed things and rearranged things. It was just my mind, just imagination flowing. It was flowing, but it was easy because I didn't have to make it rhyme. Like my poetry for me has to make sense. I mean, the book makes sense, but you know what I mean? Like it's a different type of thing. Like I'm making this up off the top of my head, whereas poetry is, this is my story or some story that triggered me in a way. So those are the two different measures on the scale for that.
Yeah. So I want to take a moment to reflect, right? So you talked about in the beginning, before you started writing poetry, how, just being able to talk and have somebody listen to you gave you your voice, right? Because it was times you couldn't express yourself.
You're right.
So, and poetry became your gift. So if words are a gift, what did silence teach you?
Ooh. Silence taught me silence taught me that was something I could never do. I saw silence. I saw the passive aggressive silence, if that made sense.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm never doing that. I'm always going to say what I need to say. I'm always going to let people know how I feel, and I used to be a little bit of pushover, or, I wouldn't say pushover, but it used to take a lot for me to react. But the older I've gotten, I'm like, nah, I don't do that anymore. I'm not, I don't. So silence for me, it just taught me that was something I never was going to do. And people will try and silence you. And I'm like, no, nobody's going to silence me.
Yeah. If you look over your entire body of work, what would they say about Grandè Beauty?
Oh, they would say that she is something else. She's not to be played with. She's very matter of fact, but she is a sweetheart. And my energy is just everything. I would say they would say that. They would say she is the epitome of empowerment and womanness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So now for some rapid fire questions. All right.
Oh, okay.
Favorite poet?
Ooh, child, it's hard. I'm gonna go with Maya though. I'm gonna go with Maya.
Okay. What is one word that describes your life right now?
One word that describes my life right now. A river.
A river. A river. Okay. You're such a poet. Of course, it's a river.
A river.
Morning, noon, or night writer?
Night. The frequencies are clear.
Yes. Pen, paper, or phone notes?
Pen and paper.
Really?
Yes. I'm old school.
On pen and paper. You want to
I'm
feel
pen
it.
up. Yes, I'm pen and paper. And even if,
Oh,
only time I would note it in my phone is if I can't get to the paper.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Your hand don't be
I'm
hurting
pen
though.
and paper. Huh?
Your hand don't be hurting. Right.
No, I love it. It's and the thing is, as I'm writing, I'm memorizing at the same
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So
So
when
you
I'm
can read
writing
it.
it,
Yeah.
so as I'm writing it, even when I'm saying in my head, I visualize the paper in my head and remember what line I wrote after the last one.
Oh,
hmm
okay. 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 Um,
okay.
finish this sentence. Poetry is.
Poetry is life. Poetry is, oh, poetry is emotions. Poetry is like electricity. It shocks people not seeing it. When you say a word, when you say a line, and people like, "Woo!"
Mm-hmm.
Poetry is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry, and it will never go anywhere. People always need words. You can do all these things. They can put what is it? The robots in the McDonald's to hand you your burger, but people are always going to need words.
Yes. Yes.
Always. Even if it's AI.
Mm-hmm.
People look at they got the AI people out here singing, but it's still because people still need that.
Mm-hmm.
People need words. People need song. That's something that will never die. People always need that type of art.
Yeah.
Poetry is the type of art that it speaks and it's original. It's authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know two poets that are alike.
True.
I don't know two poets that are alike. Even if
That's true.
even if you give two poets the same poem, they still gonna be two different poets. They're gonna
Yeah.
say it different. They're gonna
Yeah.
feel it different. They're gonna deliver it differently.
Mm.
hmm
Poets are like fingerprints. Everybody's different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's different.
Yeah. That's a
Everybody's
good.
different.
That's a good point.
And the crazy thing is, I was mentioning this to my sister the other week. I said, and the crazy thing about it, you could be a horrible writer and still be a good poet because you know how to deliver it. I
Yeah.
have heard some poets, and I'm like, what are they talking about? But they are entertaining as crap. And I've seen some poets like they like watching paint dry, but their words, I'm like,
Mm.
ooh, like this line was, but they're standing there because they're not an entertainer. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know how to get on stage and give it, so they're gonna stand there and they're gonna say it like this, and they just like, I just want to get this over with. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, that poem was something else. But people miss it because they're not
Mm.
given
They
with
expecting
this, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
theatrics,
Yeah.
where other poets, you know what I mean? So other poets they ain't saying nothing,
You're
but they
right.
said they doing a whole lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's
Yeah.
one of the two. You can get up there and say nothing to do a whole lot, or you can get up there and say a whole lot, but don't do nothing. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. It was one question I wanted to ask you that I forgot to ask you,
hmm
but it was about when you're writing, where do your words come from? Do they come from a prayer, a thought, an emotion, somebody else's experience? Where do you pull from?
it comes from experiences mostly. It
Okay.
all comes from experiences. So when I start writing, I learn words through my writing. So I will
Mhm.
write poems and look up words like, what does this word mean? I need to find a word I need to express this in a different way. Like I write out a whole line, but I'm like, what one word can write this out, can kill this whole line? And I one poem I did called Adam for Adam, and I said it was beguile, and that means deceiving.
Mhm.
Because I
Mm.
wrote a whole like he was so deceitful and his I was like, I don't want to put all that. Let
Mhm.
me just say, oh, he was beguile. And somebody here beguile, I'm finna look that up. That sound like it just means deceiving.
Yeah.
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 hmm
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I
One
learn, I study. Yeah.
Yeah, that and that's good. Especially especially when it comes to art. Like there is
Mm-hmm.
education with that. And I don't mean like going to school. I mean studying, researching the
Mm-hmm.
things that
Mm-hmm.
you have. Like sometimes you do got to look up words if you
Right.
want to get better
Right.
at what you're doing.
True.
One last question, and it's
Okay.
more of a favor on my part.
Okay. Go ahead.
If you could recite a poem for us and bless the mic right
Okay.
here.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see what I want to do.
Whichever one you want to do.
Ah, let's see. Mm. Because I want to do one I always do. That's why I'm thinking so
Yeah.
hard. Let me go through my uh-huh. Uh-huh.
People be on you
Um,
perform your hits, like you say.
yeah. And you know what? That's the thing I always say. People like, you gonna do that? I'm like, I don't want, I got other stuff, y'all. And a poet by the name of Soul Scribe told me, she say, I always do them. She say, I always do those poems. She say, you have to look at it like your poem that people want to hear. That's your Midnight Train to Georgia.
Yep.
That's your Aretha Franklin's Respect. They were getting booked. Aretha was getting booked until she passed away. Just the same respect, because that's what people want to hear. And after she said that, I said, I got it. She said, that's your hit. She said, you got your top 5 hits that people are going to remember. They're going to know the words. So let me see. Emerging from the murky bottom of the pond, cold treatments and put downs could have won. Overcame the lowest, darkest of lows, an exquisite flower bloomed despite dirt and life's blows. I remained untouched by all of the mud from the environment of which I grew, an inspiration that is so true. Just like the lotus flower, bringing beauty and light, embodiment of perfection, pleasing your sight. Truly of sinuous fiber, day to day my future gets brighter. Never thought I'd be admired because of my diameter. And now that very thing has made me spectacular. The aura of morning dew from the heaven above, a miracle of beauty, a golden lotus to be loved. Nothing less than grace and poise seen in observations, tearing down all stereotypes and false perceptions. My stock appears easily to bend, but I will not break. When you speak ill of me, I then know I've put your self-esteem at stake. Since you have seen this lotus grow, you will never forget. I am as finessed as it opens for 3 days, petals fall silently into the water and sit. I make ripples across the world, taking this stance for women, teenagers, down to the ridiculed little girl. I will not stop until my mission is complete. So all you naysayers, you can have a seat. My will shall be done. When I wake in the morning, my push and drive comes to my father and son. I speak with volumes of power so that I leave you stunned. I cannot shut down this movement inside of me because these young babies coming up are depending on me. Teenage girls are looking up to me. I want when they look in the mirror, they love the woman they see. No matter a size 3 or 30, no matter what size you can be what you want to be. Because in the end, along with you, hey, salute me.
Yeah. If y'all listen, clap
you.
it up, or snap it up. That was beautiful. I know that's
Thank you.
right.
Thank you. And I wrote that, and like I say, I study poems, so I studied the lotus flower. And I was like, let me study and I read up on the lotus flower, and I was like, oh, that's a poem. That's poetry. That flower is poetry.
Yes. And I love how you incorporate scripture into your words too. I love that. I love that about it. I love that.
You.
Thank you so much, Grandè Beauty. Oh,
thank you for having me.
Listen, I was so glad that you said yes. I love
yes,
people.
ma'am.
Women with big personalities,
yes,
who exude confidence and who have a way with words. And because I feel like poets, they get it. They just get it. We do. Yeah. And
we do.
I feel like you were the perfect person to be on here. So I really, really appreciate it. If you could tell everybody where they can follow you and what you got going on and tell them about your books so they can purchase.
Okay, you can find my books on Amazon.com, or you can inbox me directly and I can not email, but mail you a signed copy of my poetry book, Evidence of the Things Unseen, and my first half of my story series called She Has a Story Too. It should be a sin to be this sexy. So whichever you want to do, if you want to type it in, Grandè Beauty, and type in the titles, you can do that on Amazon. You can find me everywhere. If you hashtag Grandè Beauty on any social media in the search bar, you will pull me up. I made sure I started doing that. That was my niche. So since hashtags was in existence, I have hashtag myself. You probably can find some stuff that I done forgot about. So yeah, you can find me everywhere on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook 2 or 3 times. So yeah, just you can find me at what do I have coming up next? I have some things that haven't been confirmed. So I'm getting my fall geared up. So I'm waiting for that. About to film part 2 to a movie that I'm in called Trapped Outside. So if y'all want to go see me be Prosecutor Davis, Trapped Outside Part 1 is on Amazon Prime, and you can find it on YouTube also. And you can but we would love for you to watch it on Tubi to keep those numbers up. So yeah, Trapped Outside, go view that. I'm Prosecutor Davis, and we go back into filming for Part 2 very soon.
Yes. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You can find Grandè Beauty anywhere. So go ahead and check out that movie, check out her books, look her up on social media, and stay connected. I am Kerah Speaks, and this is the Calling series. Make sure you stay tuned every single week while I drop a new video, and you will never know what kind of guests I'm gonna have next week. Okay. So make sure that y'all hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you for having me.
Follow this podcast and connect with me at kerahspeaks.com, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Kerah Speaks.